Hi guys, so when Lord Frost delivered the withdrawal agreement to Boris Johnson, it seemed the Prime Minister wanted to rush it through Parliament as soon as possible. According to some, he made a pact with his party. Vote for the oven-ready deal or the withdrawal agreement without reading it, and I will keep my promise to tear it up later. Well, in a case of déjà vu, the Brexit Minister Lord Frost has refused to publish details of his plan to modify the Northern Ireland Protocol. This is even though it has been shared with the European Union. Like the oven-ready deal, it's so great Parliament should not get to see its contents. Lord Frost has refused a request from opposition parties to scrutinise it, his excuse being nothing has really changed. He said, and I quote, "There wasn't a new stage or evolution in our position, and that it simply reflected Britain's position laid out earlier this year." What is weird about all of this is that the Brexit Minister is adamant that nothing has changed, but he will not allow either the general public or the House of Commons to review it. This has been the case with many of the post-Brexit trade deals, so good that nobody should look inside. I've said on numerous occasions that Frost and the EU are probably discussing things behind closed doors that will be kept strictly secret. Some information is leaked, but we can never be sure if this was intentional or not. It's a negotiating document for the purpose of negotiations. It does not change the UK's position in any way, he said. It appears that Frost is again playing politicians in Northern Ireland like a fiddle. He has suggested that the government has not included any political parties or heads of industry in any decision-making process when it comes to the finalisation of the legal text. Frost claims to have spoken to members of the political community in Northern Ireland before when it came to his command paper on the Northern Ireland Protocol. This was back in July. But it seems that they were not consulted this time, even though Frost says that they have always been asked for their input. Baroness Chapman, Labour's shadow Brexit Minister, attacked Lord Frost over this, saying, "Instead of making Brexit work, his high-handed bluster and lack of plan is holding up progress and prolonging uncertainty. This is damaging the UK's international reputation, risks instability in Northern Ireland, and is all completely unnecessary. Perhaps he just likes the drama." Frost and his team negotiated the withdrawal agreement, which includes the Northern Ireland Protocol, back in 2019. They sold it at the time as an historical document that resolves all issues facing Northern Ireland post-Brexit. However, in the last few months they wanted to do a U-turn, making claims that they didn't understand it, that the EU pressured the Brexiteers into signing it, that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, and finally we heard from Boris Johnson's former advisor Dominic Cummings that it was never going to be implemented in the first place. Somehow Boris Johnson hasn't been challenged on this either in the media or in Parliament. Following what appeared to be deep resistance to uphold their side of the agreement, the British government made threats to suspend the protocol and also to invoke Article 16 of it. The EU responded last week by publishing a list of measures that were welcomed by industry in Northern Ireland. These measures would cut certain checks and reduce the amount of paperwork needed for trucks. These were welcomed by the UK, however the Brexiteers demanded the removal of Northern Ireland from the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. Talks between the EU and the UK have restarted recently and are expected to go on until after Christmas. What is Lord Frost playing at here? Why is he withholding information from the public and Parliament? As I said, when it comes to trade deals and generally how the Brexiteer government deals with foreign states or the EU bloc, bluster in public, compromise in private. The Tories know that they can rely on their friends in the media to paint a rosy picture of anything the government does when it comes to Brexit. Yes, there are delays and shortages, but remember that has nothing to do with Brexit. Trade deals done quickly are a sign of Britain's new ability to be more dynamic than the lumbering EU. And it doesn't matter what's contained within the trade deals. If the Secretary of State says it's a win for Britain, then that's enough for the pro-Tory, pro-Brexit press. What's important is that the post-Brexit trade deal has been achieved. The public have been lied to. They have been convinced everything is getting better, even if it's getting worse. They have been convinced that there is no going back, no return to the single market or the EU itself. This latest cloak and dagger by Frost is probably to hide massive compromises or some undermining of the Union when it comes to Northern Ireland. The EU will go along with it as long as its member state Ireland isn't negatively affected and peace in Northern Ireland is maintained. It isn't the job of the EU to inform the British public. Remember, Boris Johnson and Lord Frost couldn't give a damn about Northern Ireland, but they have to maintain a facade that they do. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.